Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. I had somebody ask me a question of how I was doing my light boxes. I just want to do a rundown of how I created this one and a few like it. Let's just jump right in and let's look at the workflow. Well, first things first, we got to look at our image to start with. If you want to do a sports logo or if you have an image, whatever, you need to look up an image, go to Google search, click on the images tab, click on the tool drop down menu over here and look at the size, and we want to make sure we choose large size. This will give us the best quality images. I'm just going to save this image right here. I just right click, save image as, go to my downloads area, I'm going to open that image with GIMP. It's a free photo editing software. I'm going to select this logo right here to work with. I'm going to select that. I'm just going to crop that to canvas. Now this is going to depend on the printer you have too. I have the Snapmaker, which has 4 tool heads, which gives me 4 colors to print from. I've also got the Bamboo X1C, which has the AMS, which also limits you to 4 colors. But you can handle that. You can handle the color mapping later. So that's just something to consider. How many colors do you want to print this thing in? All right, first thing I'm going to do on this image, I'm going to go to Layer, Transparency. I'm going to add an alpha channel. Then I'm going to grab my magic wand. I'm just going to click the white background and we're going to remove it. Now you could do that for the inners too, but I'm not going to do that for this particular one. Now I'll get my select tool, crop this down just a little bit more. Image, crop to selection. I'm going to export this as an SVG. I'm going to export this as a PNG. I'm just going to type logo.png up here. I'm going to put it on the desktop just so I know where it's at. You get this dialog box, hit export. There's the image we're going to work with. Okay, we're done with GIMP at that point. I'm going to go to Maker Lab. This is the easiest way to create these light boxes. You can do it in Fusion 360, or you could even do it in Tinkercad. But Maker Lab has a model here that makes it super easy to do these light boxes. Click on this third button right there, and there's my light box generator. You can see I've done a couple. Just done these 2 for an example. I have not printed these 2 out yet. I'm just going to import the PNG that we created. I'm going to zoom in so that fills up the area here. Just hit next. Now it's going to vectorize your image. And here's where we do our color mapping. I'm going to take the slider, or you can type the number in either way, but I'm going to bring this down to 4 colors. And I'm going to hit next on this number 5 right here. I'm going to click on that and we're going to choose white. That'll give us our 4 basic colors we will need to print this out. Hit next, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Go to our preview, it will actually show us what we will end up with. That is real thick right there. So on my dimensions, this is 40 millimeters. I usually bring this down to 30 millimeters. I wouldn't want to go less than 30 because when you start lining your LEDs in here, it's going to be too close to the front and you're going to see those hot spots, those LED spots start to show up. The further back you put your LED strips, the more diffused the light will look across the entire light box. So some people leave it at 40 and they line the LEDs right here at the back just to help diffuse that. But I find 30 is a good round number. They don't stand off the wall too much when you're hanging it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now we can come up here and see we've got some pinholes up here. And it might be picking that up from in here. We could go to our original image, choose our paintbrush, and select black for our color. And we could go through here and paint those out. Got some regular pixels out here. Erase those. Go back to my paintbrush. This does not have to be perfect at all. Just as long as we get rid of all of those white pixels. All of these white pixels are translating into the image, giving us an undesired result. Now you can go all the way around your image, painting it out like that, or come over here and right click layer panel over here. You can right click on your image, click alpha to select. We can click the select button and we can shrink that 5 pixels maybe. And we can see that's way too much. Control Z, select, let's shrink that by, that's even too much. Control Z, select, shrink 1 pixel. Alright, I've shrunk that selection by 1 pixel. Now I can go to select, invert. That way the outermost portion is selected and not the image. And I can grab my eraser, make it super big, erase everything that's outside of that image. Unselect. When we zoom in, all of those white areas are now gone. I don't see any white pixels. Export that. Logo. Replace. I'm going to go back to my design in Maker Lab. I'm going to click this image button. I want to switch this image out for this one. Now, Vector Wizard do its thing. Next, map our colors. Confirm. Now you can see all those white areas are gone. See our preview. There's our light box. Now you could come up here and export this and print it like it is. And it will give you this face down. This will print face down, so all of your text will look backwards until you get it off the build plate. This is the back. This is the back panel. A couple things you might want to do is add, this is the back panel, so we're going to add a reflection layer. This is going to print a white layer on top of that black back, and that will help reflect light towards the front. And a diffusion layer. this will print a white layer on top of your image, and this will help diffuse light a little bit, and it will also help glue all these little pieces together, all these different layers. You might have some separations between the black and the white and the red. You might have some separations in your letters. This diffusion layer will help glue all those together as well. So I would recommend printing that for sure. Now we could export that, or another thing you might want to do is add some holes. That is a keyhole slot so we can hang it on the wall. It'll give you a red line right there where the center of the image is. Plop that right there. And you might want a hole at the bottom for the wire to come through. They don't have to be that big. You can change the size of the hole. Put it right there over the buckle. Now when I preview it, spin it around, and there's the holes in the back plate. That keyhole slot will let you hang it on a nail or a screw on the wall, and that bottom hole will let you pass that wire through. And you can export that, and you can print that as is. This is what you would get. There's your front. Printing face down, of course. And here's your back. Now there's one more thing we could do. We could give it a base. If you wanted a base so you could set it on a desk. Resize your base here according to the image you have. Now if I hit preview, it's just got a base down there that we can sit it on. Now this base will print separately. So even if you add the base is still optional. Now if we go to our plates, we'll be able to see that. There's the back plate, looks the same. There's the front plate, looks the same. There's the back plate, it looks the same. And now we got a third plate. Here's our base that will print separately. So there you see, we've created our Lightbox. Had a couple of issues. Went back and done some modifications to our original image. Fixed those issues. And there's a Boston Celtics Lightbox. Turn the light off and see what it looked like with the light off. Turn the light on. So it's just that simple to use the MakerWorld plugin. Of course, if we export that, you get to choose your printer and your nozzle size. I'm going to choose the X1C. And when you go through the export process, it will even let you pick up some light strips. I'm just going to hit download, and there's my file. Of course, I'm not going to use my bamboo to print this. Front thickness. That's another thing you might want to consider. If you have darker colors, you might want to bring that front thickness down to 0.65 or 0.7. This will let light pass through easier. The back thickness, we'll leave that at 2 millimeters. Lightbox depth, we've already changed that to 30 millimeters. I will show you one other feature I don't really mess with too much. I just leave it as is. Under the structure, I just leave it as default. But you can reverse that structure. And if we go to the plates, you will see that the front plate is the thinner plate. And the back plate has the dimensions now that you tape your LED strips into. That doesn't really matter if you wanted your walls to be attached to the back or the face attached to the walls. So that doesn't really matter either way. This is SnapMaker Orca. When I bring my Lightbox into SnapMaker Orca, it's going to detect that this 3MF file was generated for a Bamboo X1C. And we'll go up here and we're just going to change that to SnapMaker. There you go. It'll give me all 3 plates. And you just slice that up and go. All plates, it's a total of 6 hours. SnapMaker U1. So, with the same settings on the Bamboo and the SnapMaker is going to take 4 hours and 30 minutes for all 3 plates. Bamboo is going to take 6 hours for all 3 plates. So there's the difference in the 2 different printers I have. At that point, you just hit print and wait a few hours, and you have your Lightbox. I have one of my Lightboxes here opened. In fact, I didn't print a back for this. LED strips. These cheaper LED strips, this double-sided tape they use is pretty garbage. They are going around, kind of tuck the LED strip into all those little corners. You either drop some super glue in there, or if you got your packing tape, a few pieces of packing tape around them, or you could line the inside of this with double-sided tape first and then stick your LEDs to that. I've got double-sided padded tape, and I've also got thin double-sided tape that I use for the CNC, and I can't find any of it right now. So once you get all your LEDs wrapped all the way around, this LED strip came with a little mode button, off, on, flashes different, and it's powered by USB-A. And when you finish, you get a nice little light box. I didn't put a hole in the bottom of the back of this one. I drilled a hole in the bottom, or in the walls actually. So you got a little base that prints separately, or you can hang it on the wall. And I have done a couple of different designs. I've printed them without the diffusion layer, and I've had separations in the colors. So I went on the inside and I put some of that packing tape. I got this whole thing lined with packing tape. So there was separation in the colors, if you can see that right there. You can glue these backs on, but the friction fit for me is good enough. This one I did print with a diffusion layer, so everything's glued together. And I also got the reflection layer on the back piece. Used a square hole for the wire to come through on this one. I just have not wired it up with LEDs yet. One other tip when you're printing these out is managing the layers, managing the print layers. On the face of this one, I won't even be able to see it. Turn the light off. It shows up. No, they're not showing up. Of course, it's printing face down, so the front's going to pick up the texture of your build plate, but you might see some little black specks once in a while on your white layers. To avoid that, go in there and edit your layers in your slicer and print the lighter colors first. So when you're printing them, just make sure you print your lighter colors first, and you can manage that within your slicer. Alright, I hope this video was helpful for anybody wanting to do light boxes, and stay tuned for the next one.